The setups that we show you in this video are lethal. But more than that, we will explain the secret that will turn you into the most flexible and unpredictable setup god.
Let's go!
You can turn away from every flash to dodge it, we all know that. But if the flash pops behind you, you automatically dodge it. So try to place the arc rows a little behind yourself. This way you can peek out without having to change your crosshair positioning. On Ascent, it would look something like this. Place your arc rows on the A side rafter. By placing it here, anyone fighting from heaven can continue doing so and the flash will not blind them, while your enemies are scrambling for cover. You can also use this while playing from hell as well as the side main boxes. Alternatively, you can post it a little ahead of you, on the left towards the wooden box, if you are playing from default or from generator. There's a third flash that you can use, and that spot is on this tiny little beam. You will have to jump up on top of generator to reach here. Her walls on the A side would be quite simple. Just place them as such, a little behind the choke so that the enemy has to come wider to trigger it. You can place your razor vines as such, and this will cover your enemy's path to the generator and towards the switch. You can trigger the razor vine the moment your wall detects someone. The best general area to place your flash in would be in this quadrant, in this wall adjoining the defender entrance up there. You can also jump up on the market wall to get some elevation so that you can get a higher spot. You can place the wall and one razor vine closer to the entrance and the other one inside boathouse next to the switch. This wall is pretty standard, but the razor vines which will stop the duelist from diving towards the button are insane because this razor vine is really difficult to break. If you want to be even more cheeky, you can leave a tiny gap in the wall that you can exploit if the enemy is trying to bait the wall out. This was key to holding the B main entrance, but if you want to play deeper in the side, use the wall as usual but put down double razor vines in lane 1 and this flash on the back of the side wall, and then you can play from boathouse. Let me show you some cool stuff for the attacking side of things. The Vice Razor Vine and the Brimstone Molotov share the exact same trajectory, speed, distance and lineups, so you can copy a lot of those. The only major difference is, people use the Brim Molly often for post plant, but you can't use the Razor Vine for the same because it won't deal damage if you're just sitting there and defusing. So you must use these in places where the enemies are expected to peek from or hold from. The thorns landing at your enemy feet will slow them down and will make it harder for them to properly peek you and fight you because this will throw off their entire movement. Head into this corner on B main. Ping the second lane on the map and look upwards from that ping. Shoot it across the window. It really doesn't have to be exact or precise. The other one can be thrown by just aiming at this giraffe head and the thorns will land right outside market door. Now let's move on to the next map, Bind. In the official trailer, we saw that there is a wall placed inside of Hookah, and this separates the diving duelist from the rest of his team. But if you want to use this one, then be careful, because the wall height is quite limited, and if the enemies climb over this box, they can probably see into the site and shoot you if you peek out wide. Don't wall off the default choke point on V long. Instead, use this one. The enemies will never risk jumping around out in the open to bait out the fake trigger of this wall. Place your razor vines on these spots, and you can place your flash over here on top. The moment your wall gets triggered, you can activate the first razor vine and peek out, and activate the other razor vine under Hookah when you hear someone drop from there. The first setup I have for you focuses on building this triple box area into your fortress. Put a wall over here and use your razor vines here outside of Shah's and the other one in lamps, along with a flash on top of this wall. This is the setup you want to play if you're holding the triple boxes. Now, while this setup can help you get a kill or two easily, after that, the best course of action for you is to activate the razor vine in lamps in case anyone leaked in there, and then to stall for time and focus on surviving rather than picking more fights. For the second setup, this is if you want to take deeper control of Shah's. This wall can also help you capture the ultimate orb for free if the enemy is foolish enough to get trapped. Your flash placement on the site matters quite a lot. The duration of the flash decreases the farther away it is. So, for that matter, if you place your flash on A heaven, you will be able to flash your enemies way earlier when they're right here, but the flash duration is shorter. The next map is Icebox, one of our favorites. This flash on rafters is my all-time favorite. It's the GOAT. With this flash, you can play both on top of rafters as well as under it, and you will still not get flashed. Now, this one-way wall can also be insanely strong on the A side. If you're planning to use the one-way wall on this side, use these thorns, one on top of 410 and the other one on top of pipes. When activated together, the thorns will discourage people from going towards pipes or towards elbow while leaving a small walkway towards the right. On the flip side, you can also place a one-way on the other side of 410 as well. But if you're placing the wall on this side, then you need to adjust your thorns in this way. These thorns will make it harder for them to go from below. This will funnel the enemies along the path of least resistance and they will run into your one-way on the other side. So whichever side you're placing your wall on, place your razor vines on the other side so that the enemies are forced to go towards the empty path and run into your walls. You can also take damage even when you're going through the zip lines, and that's why you need to cover the top of them as well. Mix the highs and lows. Sunset. This one can be amazing for Vice. One of the best starter flashes in this game is outside of A elbow. You can put it up the moment the barrier drops, and you can fight while peeking simultaneously. You can place the flash on this wall if you plan to anchor the site from right behind this box. As a defender, this flash will help you peek and isolate battles to your left and right. However, if you're an attacker who wants to protect the site after the post plant, then I'd recommend moving this flash over to this box rather. This flash will help you isolate gunfights and handle pressure from all sides, but the added benefit is that this flash will also blind anyone coming in from A alley. When in doubt, don't hesitate to leave this wall up on mid. This will act like a tripwire and prevent flanks. You can use this wall if the market door is broken. Some of the good flashes over here are from back here on this wall. Even this spot on the tree is pretty damn good, but a lot of ciphers already placed their cameras over here, so good players will always spam that spot, and that's why you need to be careful about putting it up here. Here's an insane flash for the attackers. After you climb onto this box on mid, right click and place the flash on the other side of this little area on mid. And ironically, if you notice that these are also flowers that are present over here. You know, some textures were just really meant to go together. Now we're getting to maps which Vice may not be particularly good on, and one of them is Haven. There are 3 sites, plenty of rotations, and plenty of lurking in between. And you need all the information that you can get from both info gathering, initiators, and sentinels. Cypher, Killjoy, and Sova will most likely continue to dominate Haven. But if you want to play Vice on Haven regardless, on C defense, you can place the flash either behind you and fight long, or right in front of you in the default box. Both of these flash positions will help you fight better. On Garage, you can use it on top of the doorway. On A long defense, you can post the flash up ahead of Tetris. If you're playing somewhere on B and your teammate needs help in A sewers, there's a flash that you can send right from A link into the sewers. This will pop behind your teammate's head as they are peeking into the lobby. For the newest map in the pool, I would recommend that Vice plays towards the sites rather than mid on Abyss. This flash will pop right behind you as you fight on A main. If you're rotating towards A mid round and your teammates need help quickly, this one you can put in a jiffy. This one on the beam is good for playing on the backside. Really hard to dodge this one. This one here on top also does a really good job. You can use these razor vines to stop their entry.
Thorns are live. Thorns activated.
If you want to leave a wall as a trip somewhere on mid, I would recommend placing it down here rather than the higher side of Catwalk, because they would have to make some footsteps while jumping anyway. For the B side, use the razor vines here on the ledge. They will not be able to jump across if they are slow, and they'll just fall if they try. Don't use this wall on A main because they can jump around it. Instead, use this one.
Wall set.
Plenty of good flash spots over here. You can use either one you want, just be mindful about your teammate's position as well so that you don't team flash them instead. Placing walls anywhere on mid bend is kinda useless because the enemy can walk up till there. Instead, use this one to prevent longer flanks while one of your teammate actively watches the bend by himself. You can use this flash to scale into the site if you either have information or a kill on the players who are playing on Heaven and backside. Time to discuss Lotus. There's a bunch of aggressive A main flashes that you can use at the start of the round. You can keep switching between either one of these to keep your enemies on their toes. If you're rotating away from A and want to leave a wall behind for info, use this one. Do not block the A entrance joke because this wall is pretty useless and predictable. On the other hand, this setup on B is pretty good if you don't plan on actually holding from here. You can just leave this B and activate it when the wall gets triggered. This flash on the back of C wall is only good if your enemies are already trying to enter the site and they have crossed mount and they're ready to commit. This aggro flash to fight C main is fine, just retrieve it after the first use, otherwise the enemy can easily break it. The razor vines are fairly simple, they cover quite a lot of area, so that's good. This simple wall will help you trigger the razor vines. If you're on attack and you have already cleared out the C main area, then this flash can help you scale into the site. Also, as an attacker, you can use these razor vines to make peeking much harder for the defenders on C. These were some of the basic setups that Vice can use on every map. Let us know which ones you liked and tell us in the comments which maps do you think will be best for Vice. Thanks for watching and we'll see you next time.